Hey big brains, have you ever dreamed of living in a castle? With towers, secret rooms, and maybe even a moat full of alligators? Well, believe it or not, life in a real castle wasn't exactly like the fairy tales. Today, we're going back to the Middle Ages to find out what it was really like to live inside one of history's coolest, and sometimes smelliest, buildings. Let's start with the basics. Castles were built around 900 years ago in Europe, and they weren't just giant houses. They were fortresses made to keep people safe from attacks. Instead of glass and wood, these castles were built with thick stone walls, some as wide as a school bus, and they could take decades to build. The outer walls had tall towers so guards could see enemies coming from miles away, and a drawbridge over a moat, not for decoration, but for defense. Inside the castle walls, it wasn't just the king and queen sitting around eating turkey legs all day. A castle was more like a small village. There were knights, servants, cooks, blacksmiths, guards, and even children, all working to keep the place running. Everyone had a job. The cooks worked in giant kitchens that were always hot and smoky from the fire. The blacksmith made weapons, armor, and tools. Servants cleaned, cooked, and carried water. A tough job since most castles didn't even have bathrooms. People used chamber pots or little buckets and then emptied them out the window. Not exactly royal, right? Now, let's talk about food. Because every big brain wants to know what's for dinner. The people living in castles ate things like bread, meat, and vegetables, but no chocolate, no pizza, and no French fries. Those didn't exist yet. The wealthy nobles got fancy feasts with roasted boar, deer, and even peacocks. But the servants and guards ate simpler foods like stew and porridge. And everything had to be cooked over fire. No microwaves, no ovens, no DoorDash. When it came to sleeping, the rich lived in large rooms called great halls or private chambers, while servants often slept on the floor near the fire to stay warm. Castles were freezing in the winter and super drafty. Stone walls don't hold heat very well. People hung tapestries on the walls to trap warmth and used heavy blankets called furs at night. And what did kids do for fun? No video games, of course. But they played board games, sang songs, practiced sword fighting, and learned to ride horses. Boys from noble families trained to become knights, learning how to fight and protect others. Girls often learned how to run a household or help manage the castle, which was a huge responsibility. But not everything in castle life was fun and games. There were dangers too. Wars, sickness, and sometimes attacks from other kingdoms. That's why castles had secret tunnels, hidden doors, and tall walls, just in case people needed to escape quickly. Even though castles might sound tough to live in, they were a symbol of power, protection, and pride. They showed how strong a kingdom was, and some of them, like Windsor Castle in England, are still standing today after hundreds of years. So, would you want to live in a castle? Cold rooms, no plumbing and all? Or would you stick with modern life and Wi-Fi? Either way, castles are an incredible part of history that remind us how creative and determined people were, even without the tools we have today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy Big Brain Facts.